It's Sunday, August 31st, and a widespread storm is affecting the United States in multiple ways. And one of those ways is just going to be that general threat of some widespread thunderstorms across the country today. The main regions we're expecting to see that in are going to be in New Mexico, and then central Texas, and then all the way up into the central plains as well. Of course, Florida will likely see some thunderstorms, and also out here in the middle of the Appalachian Mountains, we could see a few, but Florida and then those areas back over in the plains and southwest that I just talked about will be the main hotspots. And then with all this thunderstorm activity, there is actually a pretty decent risk of seeing some flash flooding today in both of our site risk areas, one up here in the central plains and another one down here in central Texas and the southwest. We could see 2 to 4 inches of rain in either of those areas today. So there definitely is a possibility of seeing some flash flooding. Then there's just an associated marginal, which kind of bridges the gap between our two marginal risks, the one out here in Florida. With those, we would see a smaller risk of flash flooding with only 1 to 2 inches of rain expected, but still something to be aware of as we go through the day. And another way this widespread storm is affecting us is a lot of cooler than average temperatures pretty much out east. The only places still seeing some warm temperatures are the very, very southern tip of Texas and of course central and southern Florida. Central and southern Florida will be in that mid 90s feels like region, but the southern tip of Texas will still be really hot, likely nearing those low hundreds. And then for the rest of the country, excluding the Pacific coast will be seeing some above average temperatures, likely in that mid 90s range, but over here out east, it will still be in that mid 70s to mid 80s feels like range. So still very nice. And if you're up here in parts of eastern Nebraska and then western South Dakota, and even stretching back into parts of Kansas, Iowa, and Missouri, there is a potential for seeing some low 60s feels like temperatures today. So pretty much very nice weather, except if you're on the Pacific coast, the southern tip of Florida, and then also the southern tip of Texas temperature wise. And this disturbance highlighted out here in the main development region is actually gaining some confidence that we could potentially see a system develop. It is still at a 30% chance of development, but something that we really haven't seen in the past couple of days, which we are now seeing, is that the models are starting to cling on to potentially something come out of this. Now, any directional guidance at this moment really doesn't hold any weight because we're so far out from seeing this really even getting close to even the Caribbean islands. So anything like that doesn't matter. But there is definitely the possibility that we could see a tropical storm out of this by potentially next week. And here's what the radar could look like today in that central Texas and then eastern New Mexico risk area. Really, a lot of New Mexico included in that as well. And we could see some strong thunderstorms kind of initiate around the mid-afternoon. We're going to see this band in central Texas brought by some troughing and then also a bit of a stationary front along the region. These storms likely wouldn't be severe, but they could definitely bring some strong gust. And then out here in New Mexico, we could also see some more thunderstorms develop in that mid-afternoon time, specifically along the upper plains convergence zone. Now, storms in this area do have definitely the knack to overperform slightly, so we could potentially see some severe storms out of these, but this is a very rural area, and that possibility is still on the lower side, so just stay weather aware about that. But the main thing with these are just going to be lots of rain. Again, there is that slight risk of some flash flooding and that risk of potentially seeing 2 to 5 inches of rain, and then some gusty winds, and that's pretty much it. And then moving a bit northward, we're going to see kind of a stalled low pressure system and then a bit of a front here, along with some troughing, bringing some steady rainfall to the central plains, kind of from daybreak to nightfall. Now, will these storms be strong in any nature? Likely not, but it looks like they are going to bring a lot of rain to the region, and also possibly some weak gust. And here are 500 millibar winds kind of shedding some light on why we're seeing our storms where we are. And we're immediately going to notice this belt of flow bringing a lot of southwesterly flow to pretty much the entire Great Plains. And another thing we'll notice is that low pressure system over the central plains, potentially draping a bit of a front down. And these are going to be the main weather causers today. We can even see that kind of belt of flow stretching down into Florida, along with a stationary front out here as well, also bringing weather down there. But those are the main things.